Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Virtual Racers Club. We're here for round 4 of the Super Formula Season 3. And we are looking forward to this at Tokyo Speedway or something. Tokyo Expressway, that's the one. And we've not got much time, I think 5 minutes. So I will tell you the table and the grid, and we'll just have to get on with it, I guess. There is rules, but it's all in Discords. They can use the super softs, the softs, the mediums, and the hard racing tyre, but they can only use the super softs once, only in the race. And I'll go straight to the table because that's really what is the interesting part. So Guesty is leading the championship on 53 points. Talleyrand is second on 52 points. Skyjacker third on 50 points. Homesick Alien fourth on 45 points. Racer Brown in fifth on 45 points. Digital Blasphemy is sixth on 44 points. Shiren is seventh on 32 points. Jim is eighth on 28 points. Cthulhu is ninth on 20 points. Alexis Maximus is 10th on 12 points. JTX is 11th on 10 points. Turtle is 12th on 9 points. Noxie is 13th on 6 points, and Pat is 14th on 5 points. Then we'll head to the what will be the grid, which is the reverse of the championship, somewhere around here. Oh, I can't find it. McGann's. Yeah, here's the grid, sorry. So Pat will be on pole on 100%. They carry a weight due to their position in the championship. They have success ballast, championship success ballast, so their place in the championship is to what their weight will be in the race. Pat is on pole with 100% weight. Noxie is second on 105% weight. Turtle is third on 105% weight. This is the grid, remember. JTX should be fourth on 100% weight. Alexis Maximus should be fifth on 108% weight. Cthulhu is, well, I'm going to read numbers. They don't put numbers next to them, so I'll get mixed up after a while. Then there'll be Cthulhu on 102% weight. Jim next on 101%. Then we have Shiren on 113%. Then Digital Blasphemy on 104%. Racer Brown next on 115%. Homesick Alien after that on 106%. Skyjacker on 110%. Talleyrand on 111%. Guesty on 113%. And Shadow Rider on 115%. And I know the weights seem to be all over the place, but they do have penalty ballast for missing rounds out and stuff like that, so you can't just miss a round and shed a lot of weight. There we go, Skyjacker in the chat saying double bubble. Yes, might have a treble feature this evening, something a little special after the Super Formulas if you want to hang around for a little bit of to find out another champion. So there is Cthulhu making his way around, and we've only got 2 more minutes before race off. So we'll see if we can quickly nip through the field. So Cthulhu is out there in his Seat, I think. You can't see the cars that well because it's night racing, which is unfortunate. But, you know, if you're going to race Tokyo Expressway, you may as well do it in the dark. Just not very good for the stream because you can't see the cars very well. But Jim there, especially these ones, they ain't got headlights. So there's Jim in the Lucky Strike Honda. Skyjacker, trust me, he's got a black one with a monster on it. He's in the Chevrolet. And then we have a Noxie in a very nice looking, I'm not sure what it is, BMW or something, possibly. They're saying they're ready, so I'll say I'm ready. It's all a bit rushed, I know. The races are so close together, it's hard to get a good build-up going, but you don't care about the build-up, you just want to see the racing. There is Shiren in the Haas replica. See, I'm waiting for him to go in the tunnel so we can look at him. There's no point without him being in the tunnel. And that is Alexis and Maximus, I believe, another Seat car. I'm sick. It is white, so it's not too bad. It's in the Leyland. And Talleyrand in a Subaru. Racer Brown. I can't remember what his one was. Jim, we've already seen going around. Guesty was the winner from last week in a mild 7, a Renault. Catula is just getting himself all ready to go. Digital Blasphemy. He's trying to get in the room desperately, but he's having connection issues this evening. And there you go, you get to see the Chevrolet as it goes through the tunnel. But yes, on track, it's a bit dim. You think they'd brighten up the track a little bit more, wouldn't you? There's Pat in a Williams replica. And hopefully Digital Blasphemy has finally got in. And there is Homesick Alien in the yellow Who of the floodlights. I have no idea who's going to win this one. I never do. We've had a few different winners. There's some not bad lights in that corner. So hopefully we'll see some good racing around here at Tokyo Expressway. There is Shiren, I think, him and Kutula having a bit of fun out there in the practice. You can get a good idea what they're all going to start on as well. Racing Softs for Skyjacker, Racing Softs for Noxie. Having a practice start there. I should have got in his car, shouldn't I? Let's have a look in car. Look at that, set up beautiful, there you go. You can see the visibility for those guys, it's a lot better. But everything is a bit orangey. We're sat on board with Shiren's Haas replica going through the chicane. My word, they carry some speed around here. It is a cracking stuff. So we're watching Shiren make his way around. And it seems like they're gonna burn fuel up this evening, I reckon. And Digital Blasphemy has left the room. I don't think he's going to be able to race this evening due to connection issues. But luckily, they do drop around. So even if he does miss one race, it's not going to count him out of the championship altogether. And now the timer is going down, ready for the beginning of the race. And I think we're going to see a fair few pit stops tonight. There they are, all lined up on the grid, ready to go. 11 racers, raring to go for it. And who will take the checkered flag? We will find out in just a few, I'll tell you how many laps, 32 laps. It'll be a relatively short race, I think, 32 laps around here, as they're going to be on the accelerator. Oh, it looks like a bit of a jump start for Pat. He's going to get flooded as they all come flying through. It did look like a stutter of a start for Pat. And already he's down into 4th place. Noxie taking an early lead. They do have a boost button they can use in the duration of this race. Alexis Maximus and Catula. So Noxie in a Spanish sandwich, and they've both gone through. And it looks like Alexis Maximus leads into the first corner. He's gone. There's a little tightness between himself and Noxie. But Alexis Maximus maintains the lead from Catula. Noxie in 3rd. Skyjacker in 4th place with Shiren in 5th. Racer Brown is 6th. Homesick Alien 7th. Jim in 8th. Let's get on board with Jim as we see all these cars everywhere. Oh, Jim's had a little knock on the wall. He's lost a little bit to Homesick Alien ahead of him. Hopefully he can regain that. As we're heading around the left-hander. Absolutely no lift there whatsoever, I imagine. Yeah, big lift around that right. And it looks like these cars are a little oversteery in these early laps on the racing softs for Jim. And he's got Pat and Talaran behind him, battling for position with Guesty there in 11th. Guesty might be trying to do a bit of fuel saving further back there, but Catula has taken the early lead from Alexis and Maximus. Skyjacker in 3rd place. Noxie there in 4th. Shiren 5th, just ahead of Racer Brown. Racer Brown, the heaviest car out there, trying to find a way through. He's had a look at one way. Shiren's tried to block, and sorry, Racer Brown backed out of it, with Homesick Alien catching them up to get in the tow as they come up to the first corner. And they've completed 1 lap already around here at Tokyo Expressway. Catula, though, still leading by 7/10 from Alexis and Maximus, who's 4/10. No, Skyjacker's just managing to get past Noxie. He's alongside Noxie. Can he make it stick? He's up into 3rd. Noxie now down into 4th place. Racer Brown up into a 5th, being followed closely by Shiren and Homesick Alien. These 3, oh my lord, it's manic, isn't it? Let's get on board with Homesick Alien as we battle it out here against Shiren and Racer Brown, as we avoid the walls here at Tokyo Expressway. Going through the right-hander with a small lift up to 6th gear, nearly full whack round that corner as we head down to the tight hairpin. And he's got Talaran only a 10th behind him. Talaran trying to make a move up the inside of Homesick Alien, and he makes it stick. But Homesick Alien will be getting a tow down this straight. Oh, and Homesick Alien, Guesty's trying to find a way through as well. My word. They're battling hard around here. Guesty there in 9th place. Just behind Homesick Alien is Jim. Jim, we saw, have a little knock on the wall earlier, and he's coming back, trying to find a way through with this really long straight. Those that are carrying more weight will be finding it a real struggle to keep up with the battles of the lighter cars. Catula, meanwhile, is 1.6 second lead from Alexis and Maximus, who's now under pressure from Skyjacker. Skyjacker applying pressure. To Alexis, he's trying to get up around the outside. There is a tough call to make. He's up the inside now, but Alexis gets the, oh no, Alexis backs out of the chicane, and now Skyjacker is up into 2nd place. Alexis Maximus in 3rd. Then we have a Noxie in 4th, but he's got Racer Brown all over him at the moment, and Racer Brown trying to find a way through. He's carrying that weight though. I'm surprised he's not struggling along the straights. With Shiren in 6th place. And they've pulled away from Jim now up into 7th ahead of Guesty. Talleyrand in 9th. And Homesick Alien in 10th. And Pat in 11th. He's on the lightest car. Possibly, I'm not sure. I can't remember the weights now. And that's 4 seconds for Catula. He's down to 3/4 of a tank. His tyres are still looking good as he leads this race. He's doing a super job at the moment, leaving the rest behind as he takes another fastest lap in the race. And he is leaving them for dirt. Skyjacker in 2nd place with Noxie in 3rd. He's managed to get past Alexis and Maximus, who's dropped down to 5th. With Racer Brown still there, still trying to get involved in this race, but he's got a wall of super formulas ahead, and someone's going for a move up the inside. Was that Alexis Maximus? It was. Alexis Maximus doing a sneaky one up the inside of Racer Brown, putting him down to 5th, and he's got Shiren hastily catching him from behind. I'm having to look at the names because all the cars just look yellow. There's Jim in 7th. He's pulled away from Talleyrand. He's a second ahead of Talleyrand now, who is being chased closely by Guesty. Let's get on board with Guesty in 9th place. He's a second ahead of Homesick Alien. He's right on the tail of Talleyrand, looking for a way by, and he pulls him in during the corners. Absolutely super stuff from Guesty, sitting there. Last week's winner, I believe Guesty was. He's going for a move into the hairpin, heavy on the brakes. Can he stop that super former? He slides out wide, but he's managed to maintain, and he's ahead of Talleyrand. What a beautiful move whilst we were sat on board. But now Talleyrand is going to be in the tow of Guesty. Guesty on the boost to try and pull away from the Subaru Super Formula. And Homesick Alien 1 second behind those guys. Homesick, he's going to have to do something clever today, do some fuel saving or something, as Catula is 6 seconds ahead. Noxie and Racer Brown and Skyjacker all having a three-way battle up to the first corner. Racer Brown just ahead at the moment in second place, gets into the corner. Skyjacker's trying to go up the inside. Skyjacker does get up the inside of him. And Noxie in 4th. Get on board with Noxie in the midst of this battle. He's alongside Racer Brown, just behind Skyjacker, trying to find a way through. As they go through the chicane, we're on lap 5 of 32. And already Noxie nearly halfway through his fuel. So like I said, it's going to be, if they're not fuel saving, there's going to be a fair whack of pit stops. And the pit lane is in a really, oh no, it is on the straight, so it should be alright. I thought it was underneath on the hairpin at the end of the corner, but it's not. That's when the track's in a different, because there's about 5 different variants of expressway. And who was that? Shiren up the inside of Noxie. Cheeky move from Shiren in the Haas, and that puts Noxie down into 5th place. Oh no. Noxie and Shiren battling it out at the moment for that 4th place, as Racer Brown in 3rd, Skyjacker in 2nd, and then two are very close to each other on the track. We'll do some long shots. There you see Skyjacker and Racer Brown heading up to the first corner. And Skyjacker up the inside of Racer Brown. And Racer Brown, look at that, beautiful respect given from each driver. Loads of racing space, as Catula now is 7.8 second lead in this race. Skyjacker on half a tank of fuel. Catula also on half a tank of fuel. And Racer Brown in 3rd with Shiren in 4th. Noxie in 5th. Jim is up into 6th now, ahead of Talleyrand in 7th. Alexis and Maximus down to 8th, battling with Guesty in 9th. And my words, we've got some battles on the on the track. Homesick Alien in 10th place. He's 1.5 seconds behind that battle of Guesty and Alexis and Maximus, with Pat in 11th and 9 seconds adrift of those guys. But Catula is the man. Racer Brown and Skyjacker duking it out there, with Shiren just sat behind them. And Skyjacker just ahead of Racer Brown. Shiren in the tow though as they go under the bridge. Noxie in 5th, don't count him out. He's got a bit of a lighter car than the guys ahead of him. And he's looking for a way by, and the tyres absolutely untarnished here. I think, you know, I don't think they can get the fuel to go halfway, but those tyres probably could take on a whole race. As they come up to that first corner, and Racer Brown just ahead of Skyjacker. Skyjacker's going up the inside though. Skyjacker makes it stick. And Racer Brown now has got Shiren up the inside of him as well. Shiren making a move, and Racer Brown has a little knock on the wall. And it's 3 wide as they head down to the left-hand corner. And it's Racer Brown still in 3rd. Shiren in 4th and Noxie in 5th place. What a battle these guys are having. Very close between all of them, and oh my words. Looks like Noxie had a knock on the wall there, and now we've got Jim in amongst them all. Jim and Talleyrand have come to join the party for second place. They're all battling for that second place, really. And it's tight stuff in the midst of the field, whilst Catula, some nearly 10-second lead he's got on these boys now. Unbelievable driving from Catula. He's really found his rhythm. Skyjacker also pulling away from Racer Brown. Racer Brown in third, Shiren in fourth. Then we've got Noxie and Talleyrand side by side. Jim in there as well. Alexis Maximus in 8th place. Guesty in 9th. Homesick Alien not too far behind in 10th. 8 tenths behind those boys. He'll be getting a tow down this straight as we get on board with Homesick Alien. He's a second behind though, that weight. I don't even think the tow's helping him. He's used a bit of tow, a bit of boost so far in this race. He can only manage mid 41s, where we've seen Catula doing a 40.2, nearly a second and a half faster in the lead of this race. That's Homesick Alien struggling to stay with the gang. Look at them, they're 2 seconds ahead now, where they're all towing each other. And yes, that will be frustrating for the Alien out there. Catula in 10th place, 10th. In first place, 10-second lead on Skyjacker in second, who's now pulled away from the pack. He's broken away from the pack now in second place. Racer Brown just staying ahead of Shiren for now. But Shiren is itching to get into that podium position. But he's got Talleyrand. Talleyrand going up the inside of the Russian sensation. And Talleyrand makes it stick. He's up into 4th with Shiren in 5th place. Jim is 6th. Looking to make a move on the Russian. Down into the heavy braking, and he can't quite get up the inside of the Haas. And Noxie, Noxie. No, that wasn't Noxie who hit the wall. Who was that? Guesty in 8th. Homesick Alien there. It must have been Alexis Maximus. We saw giving the wall a tap, and that gives Homesick Alien an opportunity. Jim's the first guy to go in the pits, and that's tactical because he's got fuel. His tyres are fine, so that's an interesting decision by Jim. No one else has followed him in. They don't fancy it just yet. Catula out there, he's still got a quarter of a tank of fuel, barely anything on his tyres, so he's good to go for a while yet. They've done 9 laps, or they're on 9 laps, so it's around about three laps per quarter of fuel. So he should have another 3 laps left in that car before it starts showing empty. Skyjacker also a quarter of a tank. Racer Brown a quarter of a tank. He's pulled closer to Skyjacker, looking to get second spot on the go here. Talleyrand in 4th. Made his way up through the field. He's won the first 2 championships of the Super Formula, looking to try and get a 3rd. Noxie in 5th, ahead of Shiren in 6th. Homesick Alien now up into 7th. He's got himself ahead of Guesty as well as Alexis Maximus. So, Homesick Alien making the moves, and he's saved a bit more fuel than the guys around him. Guesty though trying to get up the inside of the Alien. Oh, he's got a bit of a wiggle on though, a little early on that accelerator. And Homesick maintains 7th place for now, with Guesty in 8th, Alexis Maximus in 9th. Pat is up into 10th as he comes around the final corner. And Jim with that early pit stop, he's topped up with fuel, another set of racing soft tyres, and we'll see how that strategy works out for him, as I assume these guys are going to go all the way to the empty tank, which I'm guessing is going to be around about lap 12, possibly 13. Racer Brown has managed to get past Skyjacker now for second place, with Skyjacker keeping close eye on the UPS car, I believe it is, ahead of him. Getting ever closer is Skyjacker, trying to make the move on Racer Brown. Racer Brown's got a bit of a... I thought he was going sideways then. That was awesome. And that gives Skyjacker the invitation he wants to get by. Racer Brown, look how close they're racing at such speeds. Ridiculous speeds these super formulas are going at. And Talleyrand then in 4th place, Shiren in 5th, and Noxie not too far behind there in 6th place also. Guesty's got himself, they've both got themselves, Alexis and Guesty have got themselves back ahead of Homesick Alien. Homesick Alien in his own little battle down here for 7th, 8th and 9th. And Pat in 10th. Jim 6 seconds. Oh, someone else has pitted. Talleyrand has come into the pits. And wow, it looks like Catula's thing's gone red already. His boost, he's down to his last quarter of boost. He's used a lot of boost in this race already. 11 laps of 32 done. His fuel is now flashing. Racer Brown's fuel is flashing. Skyjacker's fuel is flashing. They'll be coming in at the end of this lap. Shiren, he's done okay with fuel. It's not flashing just yet. He's ahead of Noxie. Noxie's fuel is flashing. He'll be needing fuel by the end of this lap also. Guesty, his fuel's flashing, so there's going to be a lot of pit stops coming this way. Alexis Maximus in 7th with Homesick Alien in 8th. Jim is in 9th already. He got himself ahead of Talleyrand, so that early pit stop, but Talleyrand's gone on to the super softs, whereas Jim went on to the softs, but that early pit stop has got him a good 3 seconds on Talleyrand at the moment. Beautiful stuff. And Pat must have pitted as well. Yeah, Pat's been in, put on another set of softs. So Catula, I imagine, is going to come in now, but he's got a good 12 seconds on the rest of the fields. So Racer Brown, he's going to have to pit as well. He's just ahead of Skyjacker, who's also going to have to pit. Very tight for fuel for these two, and they're still racing into the pit lane. Skyjacker, they're coming into the pit lane side by side, my word. Shiren disappear into the pit lane also. No, Shiren's trying to brave another lap out of that, as the rest of the field, except for Alexis Maximus, Alexis Maximus also trying another lap. Interesting stuff. It's very tight for fuel there, but these two have continued. Catula's back out on track. Catula has totally filled up and put the soft tyres on. And then we've got Skyjacker coming out. He's filled it up. He hasn't changed tyres. Interesting stuff. Racer Brown has changed the tyres, so he's lost ground to Skyjacker there, whereas Skyjacker just went in. No new tyres for Skyjacker. Very brave move. Very brave. Let's hope those tyres, I mean, there's not much tyre deck here, so it might work for him. Catula definitely put on a new set of tyres. Shiren, has he got enough fuel to get to the end? It's going to be pretty tight for him. He's over halfway around the course. He's showing a bit of red. So is Alexis Maximus. Catula should be back in the lead after those two guys pitted. Skyjacker with a very clever move, not changing the tyres, but how clever will it be come the next pit stop? Is he going to struggle with some worn out tyres? We will see. Jim up into 6th. He's got himself ahead of Racer Brown, so that early pit stop has really paid dividends for Jim, but he's going to have to pit early again. And he's up into 5th with Racer Brown in 6th. His car's already heavy with the success ballast, and now with a full tank next to Jim's 3/4 of a full tank. Homesick Alien up into 8th ahead of Noxie. Well, hang on. Oh, Talleyrand in 7th. I missed Talleyrand out. There you go. Talleyrand in 7th. 2.5 seconds behind Racer Brown. Alexis Maximus and Shiren did make it to the pits. Catula back into the lead. Skyjacker should get back into 2nd place. And Jim now is in 3rd place. Super stuff from Jim, but he's getting towed by Racer Brown. Racer Brown grabbing a tow from Jim up the straight, trying to make a move into the first corner for Racer Brown. to get back into third and hunt down Skyjacker, but he just can't quite do it. The weight of the car is against him. He's going to try and do it under braking, but no, Jim is into the corner first, and Jim is doing an absolutely super job. That early pit stop seemed to be quite a wise move for Jim. Got him right up there, with Racer Brown in fourth, Talleyrand in fifth place on his super soft tyres, trying to get the most out of those tyres now and gain some ground. Homesick Alien, he pitted. I don't think he changed tyres as well. I think he made a wise move there. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think his tyres would be that worn already. So Homesick Alien also pitting, but keeping the same tyres on. Shiren went in. He's put some super softs on. He's having a real battle, a real ding-dong there with Noxie. And Alexis Maximus and Guesty behind them. They're having themselves a good old knees up as well, with Alexis and Maximus just ahead of Guesty. As they come around, we're on lap 13 of 32. Still a long way to go in this race. And Pat there in 11th. Just had a little scrape with the wall, half a tank of fuel. I think he pitted on lap 10, it looks like. So Catula now, he's virtually used all his boost, but he's still got that 12.5 second lead on Skyjacker, who's got 3/4 of the boost, but some older tyres than the rest of the guys. Jim still maintaining that third place ahead of Racer Brown, but Racer Brown is a lot closer this lap. He's having a look into the first corner, and Racer Brown looks like he's just got himself up ahead of Jim under the brakes, and he's up into third place for Racer Brown, and he's getting very close to Skyjacker. His Skyjacker struggling with his tyres. Skyjacker did a 141.9 last time around. Racer Brown doing a 41.1. So, it might not have been that much of a wise move from Skyjacker if he cannot get the pace down. We will have to see Racer Brown a lot faster at the moment, and Jim faster than that. A 40.9 from Jim, staying on the back of Racer Brown, and he'll be wise to, really. He could save fuel sitting behind Racer Brown without losing time. But knowing Jim, he's a racer, he'll want to get ahead. But at the moment, following him nice and closely, Talleyrand is 3.5 seconds behind these boys in fifth place, and only 3 seconds ahead of Homesick Alien, whom is a second ahead of Noxie, but Noxie's in a battle with Shiren. Shiren on those super soft tyres. He'll be wanting to bang down some lap times now and jump at the couple of cars. Alexis Maximus and Guesty in a battle of their own down there, and we just saw a can floating into the middle of the road. Hopefully Pat won't hit it. He's just coming into, I've seen cars before bounce off those barrels that are in the middle of the road. No, he misses it. It looks like it's off the racing line, that barrel, so we should be all right. Catula, meanwhile, 12.2 seconds ahead of Skyjacker. Skyjacker has been caught up by Racer Brown and Jim. So, is it the tyres? A 41.9, but he might be fuel saving as well with Skyjacker in this stint. We'll not know, but Racer Brown's trying to go around the outside. Skyjacker giving him just enough room to hang himself. And Skyjacker maintains that second place from Racer Brown, who's still trying to fend off Jim, who's faster than those guys at the moment. He's in the 40.6s, 40.3 for Racer Brown though, and 41.9 for Skyjacker. I don't think it is the tyres. I think he's being clever with his fuel, but I'm not sure. Talleyrand closing up on them. He's done a 40.6. He was over 3 seconds behind, and now he's only 2 seconds behind Racer Brown. Jim's got himself ahead of Racer Brown. Go Jim, go Jim. Go Jim, it's your birthday. We're gonna party like it's your birthday. Noxie in sixth. He's pulling away from Shiren, even though Shiren's got them super soft tyres on, and now Homesick Alien is catching up with Shiren. Maybe Shiren trying to do a bit of a bit of fuel save. But that's a big call when you've got the super softs on. And Homesick Alien closing up. That barrel is well out of the racing line, so they're all right at the moment. Guesty in 9th place with Alexis and Maximus in 10th, and 11th for Pat. But it's this man today, Catula. No one can get close to him. He's getting purples all the way around. And he's doing an absolutely stand-up job. Bonsai. Skyjacker in that battle now with Jim. Jim's trying to get through. He's going around the outside of Skyjacker. Can he make it stick? It's going to be tight. Jim on the wall. Skyjacker's trying to give him the room. And now Racer Brown's coming up the inside of Skyjacker. And it's a lovely little three-way battle we've got going on here between Jim, Racer Brown and Skyjacker. Skyjacker still in second place at the moment on those older tyres, remember. He did not change his tyres in the pit stop. And he's got Jim in the Lucky Strike Honda, looking one way and looking the other way, trying to get by Skyjacker. As we're on board with Jim, we've got Racer Brown right behind us, as we've got Skyjacker just ahead of us. Skyjacker on the older tyres, and Jim's got to move around the outside, but he's on the wall. Has he made it stick? Not quite. Skyjacker's still there ahead, and Jim's giving it all he can to try and get by car 99. The Chevrolet Super Formula is holding ground ahead of the Honda, and Jim trying to go around the outside again, and now Talleyrand, I believe, has caught these boys up. There is Racer Brown, and Talleyrand you can see in 5th place just behind them. And we have got ourselves a juicy little battle there on lap 16, which I'd say is dead on halfway in this race. And Jim right in the toe of Skyjacker. The engine's absolutely screaming its balls out. There's no more pace in that car as he tries to get by Skyjacker, but Skyjacker is maintaining that ahead. And they come down the gears, and Jim again trying to find a way past Skyjacker, but there's just no room there, with Racer Brown and Talleyrand very close behind. And Jim trying to hold ground, but Racer Brown on Talleyrand will be. Talleyrand's on those super soft tyres, remember, so he's got better grip come the corners. And this is a very interesting race. And oh, Jim's on the wall. Talleyrand's trying to get out of the way. Talleyrand's up into 3rd place now, with Jim hitting the wall, who's down into 4th. Racer Brown in 5th. My word, it's a tight battle. And now Talleyrand is going 4th to try and attack Skyjacker. They're all trying to have a go at Skyjacker at the moment. Skyjacker on those older tyres. Skyjacker did a 43.5 his last time around. Is he starting to feel the pain with those tyres? He's got half a tank of fuel, but he's maintaining that 2nd position. Talleyrand trying to go the long way round the hairpin. As Jim gets 4th ahead of Racer Brown. Then we have Noxie battling Shiren for 6th and 7th. And behind those guys we've got Guesty fighting Homesick. Alexis has dropped back somewhat. 7 seconds behind these boys. I don't know what happened to Alexis there. He was battling with Guesty, and he's 8 seconds ahead of Pat. He's going to need another pit stop soon, is Pat. His fuel is looking quite low. But it's this man at the moment, Kurtula, 16-second lead, but he's used all his boost up halfway through the race, and he has no boost left. Skyjacker still in that 2nd spot ahead of Jim. Jim going around the outside, car 66, and he's got himself up into 2nd. Can he maintain it? It looks like he has. So now Jim up into 2nd place ahead of Skyjacker. Has Skyjacker's tyres given up the ghost? With Talleyrand around the outside. Talleyrand now looking up the inside. And Talleyrand is up into 3rd, and now Skyjacker is in trouble, I believe. Skyjacker could be in trouble with those tyres, with a Racer Brown all over the back of him. And Kurtula still 16 seconds ahead of those boys, with Jim in 2nd place going into the hairpin. Talleyrand and Skyjacker very close together. Skyjacker trying to get up the inside of Talleyrand, but Talleyrand says no, I've got 3rd for now, my friend. So Talleyrand stays in 3rd, with Skyjacker in 4th, Racer Brown in 5th, Noxie in 6th. He's pulled away from Shiren now. Shiren's in trouble from Guesty. Guesty's on the attack, who's pulled away from Homesick Alien in 9th, sorry. And Alexis Maximus in 10th and Pat in 11th. But Pat's going to be coming into the pits on this lap, I imagine. His fuel is flashing in that Williams Super Formula. As we see, no, he's going around again, so I was wrong. Catula's just under half a tank of fuel. Jim, one of the first to stop. His fuel is good for a few laps yet. Talleyrand in that third place. He's got over a quarter of a tank of fuel left. Skyjacker, he's at just under half a tank of fuel. Racer Brown also just under half a tank of fuel, but he's dropped back from that battle around 2 seconds. And Skyjacker, Jim and Talleyrand hard at it at the moment. Coming around for round 4 of the Super Formula, and what a race we're having on the streets of Tokyo at the moment. Jim still maintaining second place, but the fuel has started flashing, so that's the next lap or so. He will have to make his pit stop. Talleyrand keeping that inside line from Skyjacker. Skyjacker, though, I said has his tyres cooked, but he's staying with these boys, so obviously not. Racer Brown not too far behind. Then Noxie and Guesty. So Shiren's dropped off a little bit. Shiren's dropped back from letting Guesty through. And someone's just pitted. Oh, it was Jim. Jim has come in. He's come in for his pit stop. And we remember that early pit stop paid well for him in that first stint. How will it do in this second stint? We've only got 12 more laps to go. And we saw that their fuel tank did go 12 laps for these boys. So Catula, well, 11 laps. So it's going to be tight for Jim. But Catula at the moment just absolutely pulverising the rest of the field. 17.3 second lead he's got on Talleyrand. Talleyrand just ahead of Skyjacker. Less than a second between them two. Racer Brown's dropped back a bit. I've got a feeling Racer Brown's probably doing a bit of... And Pat in the chat saying underfueled by a lap from what I wanted to do. Did he get to the pits? Oh yeah, he's out of the pits now. So he's back out again. Yeah, it's going to be a tight one. I think they were doing about 11 laps on a full tank with 12 laps to go. There might be a splash and dash at the end for Jim and Pat. Talleyrand, Catula doing fine. He's still got a quarter of a tank of fuel in that car as he crosses the line in the lead. And really, you've got to say, this is going to be his race. It really is. Fernando Alonso does it again on the streets of Tokyo Expressway. Talleyrand in second place. He's pulled away from Skyjacker. Is Skyjacker backing off? He's gone in, as has Racer Brown. Racer Brown mirroring what Skyjacker does. And Racer Brown's tyres still look quite fresh. Will he pull a Skyjacker? No, he's changed tyres. So Talleyrand staying out there. Noxie also going round again, up into third now, fighting with Guesty. Guesty and Noxie, when they both entered the BRC around the same time. And man alive, I used to get their names muddled up just because they both end with a Y. But Guesty at the moment in the Mild 7 Renault, just moving ahead of Noxie, and they've got Shiren, the Russian sensation, just behind them. And this is quite a battle they've got going on there. Homesick Alien in 6th, keeping his head down in this race. It looked like he didn't have any pace at the beginning, but he slowly worked his way through the fields. Alexis Maximus in 7th. Skyjacker back out of the pits on a set of super softs in 8th place. Full tank of fuel going all the way till the end, we imagine. Racer Brown as well, super softs, full tank of fuel going all the way till the end. Jim, his early pit stop didn't pay him the dividends he needed like it did in the first stint. He's on the super softs, and I don't think he's going to have enough fuel to get to the end of the race, but I could be wrong. And there is Pat in 11th. So Catula, still plenty of fuel on that car for him to do a lap or two. Talleyrand, he's going to have to come in. His fuel's flashing, and the roll hoop is red, so he's down to his last quarter of boost, as is Guesty. Noxie though, doing okay. He's decided not to come in this lap, just getting a toe off of Guesty as Guesty comes in for fuel. Shiren also staying out there. I think Shiren is being very frugal with his fuel. And he's playing the strategy game here at Tokyo Expressway. Everyone else is in, so that will put Skyjacker back up. And Racer Brown, oh no, sorry. Racer Brown just behind him, and Jim not too far behind Racer Brown. Guesty is there. He's caught up Jim as well. He's only 2 seconds behind Jim. So Guesty's put himself back into contention of this race. So we've got Catula out there in the lead by 25 seconds, but he has not pitted yet. Noxie also not pitted in second place. Shiren not pitted in third place. Then we've got Talleyrand, who has pitted and he's jumped Skyjacker and Racer Brown somehow. So that is fantastic. I don't know how Talleyrand's done it. He did the fastest lap before his pit stop, and that would have helped. Racer Brown, now Catula's come in. Racer Brown is got himself ahead of Skyjacker. So Racer Brown in 5th, Skyjacker 6th, Jim in 7th, Guesty in 8th, Alexis Maximus in 9th, Homesick Alien in 10th, and Pat in 11th. There's Catula in the pits. Noxie's coming in as well. I was going to say he hasn't got enough fuel to go round again. Shiren has though. Shiren's been really, really clever with that fuel. And Catula back out on track, still in the lead. Unbelievable race for Catula here. He's done an absolute blinding job. So Catula on lap 23 of 32, still leading. Has done virtually from the start, slowly pulled away from the guys. Says he's only 3.7 seconds ahead of Shiren, but Shiren has yet to pit for that final pit stop. Talleyrand, he's got all his pit stops out of the way, and he's a good 3.2 seconds ahead of Skyjacker. And Racer Brown and Skyjacker have had themselves an absolutely blinding battle all the way through this race. And they would have been net second and third, but Talleyrand has somehow pulled a blinder, staying out a lap or two longer, and has had himself, got his pit stop done and got himself out ahead of Skyjacker and Racer Brown. Jim there, he's 3.5 seconds behind Racer Brown in 6th place, but he should be ahead of Shiren when Shiren finally pits. Noxie's come out of the pits in 7th, just ahead of Guesty. They've continued their battle. We saw them battling before the pit stops. Guesty's on the super soft tyres. Noxie also on the super soft tyres. And these guys are going to battle it out all the way, but it looks like Guesty had a little knock on the wall. Alexis Maximus has got himself back ahead of Homesick Alien, but Homesick Alien's catching him up. Homesick Alien's still got fair whack of boost left in that car. And Pat is 21 seconds behind them in 11th spot. But this is a very interesting race. So Shiren's fuel is now flashing, but he's gone round again. He's gone past the pit, so he feels quite confident he can get another lap out of this. And he's going to do a shorter fuel stop for the last stint. Talleyrand 3.3 seconds ahead of Skyjacker, who's still battling it out with Racer Brown. Racer Brown just moving up into 4th ahead of Skyjacker, using a little boost there to try and pull away from Skyjacker. Puts him down into his final quarter. Skyjacker having a little knock on the wall. He's still got half of his boost left as well, so he'll be using that liberally in this last part of the race. Jim in 6th. He's got a quarter of his boost left. He's 3.6 seconds behind Racer Brown and Skyjacker. 2.5 seconds ahead of Noxie. Noxie's only 7/10 ahead of Guesty. Guesty and Noxie we've seen battling for a fair few laps now. And they're just going at it like hammer and tong. Alexis and Maximus, he's been caught up by the Alien. The Alien trying to get that 9th spot away from the Spaniards. And They're both similar cars, both on super softs, and both got 3/4 of a tank of fuel. Alexis Maximus has used all his boost up though, where the Alien has still got half of his boost left. Shiren finally pitting. He's finally pitted. He got nothing. Look, 0% in that car. 0% fuel. He used every single last drop of fuel as Cthulhu pulls away. Talleyrand is some 20 seconds behind Cthulhu now, and there's no way of catching Cthulhu at this point in the race, with only, what, 7 laps to go in this race. Racer Brown in that final podium position so far, using his boost, trying to get away from Skyjacker, who's a second behind. And 3.7 seconds ahead of Jim, who's in 5th. And Noxie's only 2.3 seconds, but he's battling with Guesty, which will be slowing him down. They could catch up with Jim, but they're so busy battling each other, it'll be slowing them down. Noxie doing a 41.5 his last time around, Guesty doing a 40.8, and Jim managing a 41.5, same as Noxie. Skyjacker 41.7 as he hunts down a Racer Brown. Racer Brown did a 40.5. This pretty much, I think, is going to be about fuel at the end of this race. Talleyrand's still got quite a whack of fuel in that car. He pitted later than these two. Jim, only half a tank. We were saying Jim and Pat might be shady if they can get to the end. We'll just have to see. But he's got half a tank of fuel. It's going to be a struggle. Noxie, 3/4 of a tank ahead of Guesty, who's also got a fair bit of fuel there. Shiren came out of the pits behind that battle with Noxie and Guesty, and he's using the last of his boost to catch them up. So we've only got 7 more laps to go around here at Tokyo Expressway. Alexis and Homesick Alien still in their battle. We saw the Alien romp up to the back of Alexis Maximus. He's getting the toe now, and it doesn't look like he's going to get past though. He's looking, but it just hasn't got, I think the weight is just against him. He's got the boost if he wants to use it. Possibly he's saving that boost for later in the race. At the moment, he's probably happy to get the toe from Alexis. Alexis having a lighter car than the Alien. But Cthulhu, I didn't ask you anything. So Cthulhu 21 seconds ahead of Talleyrand. Talleyrand 3.7 seconds ahead of Racer Brown. Racer Brown only 10ths ahead of Skyjacker. In the chat, Mama Homesick saying, come on son. He's carrying a lot of weight though in this race, being high up the championship. So Jim in 5th, Noxie in 6th, Guesty in 7th, Shiren in 8th place. Alexis there in 9th, just ahead of the Alien, who's looking to try and get by Alexis Maximus in the corners, but no, stays behind him. I'm pretty sure he's staying behind just to get the toe from Alexis Maximus, because Alexis Maximus, a lighter car up the straights. But Alexis is 7 seconds off of Shiren, so even if Homesick was to get by Alexis, he's not going to go anywhere really. So he's probably happy just to sit behind him and get the toe up the straights, just so his car feels a little faster, possibly. And he's looking around the outside of Alexis and Maximus, but there's nothing there he can do. We're on lap 27 or 32 now, excuse me. Talleyrand in 2nd place. He's 21.7 seconds behind Cthulhu. He's 3.8 seconds ahead of Racer Brown. Racer Brown 7/10 ahead of Skyjacker. Half a tank of fuel. It's not too bad, is there? With only 5 more laps to go of racing. And Jim's done okay. He's looked after that fuel. I thought his fuel was going to be quite tight, but I think with some conservative lap times, he's managed to look after his fuel. He's 4 seconds behind. And he's still got a bit of boost left in that car. Noxie in 6th place. He's pulled away from Guesty now. Guesty's 1.3 seconds behind. Sharen's 1.6 seconds behind Guesty. Alexis Maximus only 5.6 seconds behind them. So maybe Homesick's Alien's idea of sitting behind Alexis is working. They've caught Sharen up by 2 seconds. Sharen did a 41.4 his last time around, with Alexis doing a 40.1, Homesick Alien a 40.1, and Homesick now using a bit of that boost. I think he's trying to work with Alexis to try and catch up Sharen. And there is Pat in his Williams replica using the last of his boost. Just getting used to the car. This is only his 2nd round with the Super Formula Championship this season, as Catula there flying high in the lead of this race on lap 28 of 32, and he can almost taste that champagne. Talleyrand in 3rd, barely any boost left in his pocket, but it's there if he needs it. Racer Brown not getting any closer really. 3.5 seconds behind Talleyrand and a second ahead of Skyjacker. Skyjacker's used a lot of his boost up to try and catch up Racer Brown. Racer Brown and no more boost left in his car as they cross the line to complete lap 28 and on to 29. Skyjacker in the tow, just no, he's just out of the tow, a second behind. Jim's got a little bit of boost left. He's looked after his fuel nicely, has Jim. I thought it was going to be tight for fuel for him come the end of this race, but I think he did a bunch of 41s just to look after that fuel. Now he's back into the 40s trying to catch up. Racer Brown and Skyjacker ahead of him. He's boxed clever in that car, and he's done very well. Noxie in 6th, 3 seconds behind Jim. He's pulled away from Guesty though. Guesty may be looking after his fuel, who knows? But he was right there with Noxie, and he's dropped back a little bit. Sharen only 1.5 seconds behind Guesty. Alexis Maximus getting ever closer, and a Homesick Alien staying behind the Spaniard. I think he's using the Spaniard to help boost his car. They're both in the 40s. Trying to catch up. Sharen, 4.3 seconds behind. Sharen's in the 41s. But there's only 3 laps to go. It's a tough order for Alexis and Homesick to do at this point in the race. Catula again, absolutely awesome race from Catula from start to finish. He's got the fastest lap of the race as well on lap 28, 39.7, going for maximum points. Talleyrand in 2nd, staying ahead of Racer Brown. Racer Brown can't break down that time between himself and Talleyrand. Racer Brown did a 40.7 his last time around. Talleyrand did a 40.7 also. Skyjacker did a 40.8. So it's checkmate here between Talleyrand, Racer Brown and Skyjacker. There's nothing they can do about each other. Jim, a 40.9. He's trying to push on, trying to catch up that battle. Ahead of him, Noxie in 6th, and he's 1.8 seconds ahead of Guesty at the moment, but I think Guesty might be looking after his fuel tank, although there's only 2 laps to go. And I imagine that is enough fuel to get to the end. Shiren also 2.2 seconds behind Guesty. Only 3 seconds on Alexis Maximus now. Alexis Maximus and Homesick Alien doing all they can to try and catch up Shiren in these latter parts of the race. And these are the closest guys on track at the moment. Like I said, I don't think Homesick Alien is trying to make any attempt to get past Alexis Maximus at the moment. Probably a wait until the final lap if he's going to try and make a move on Alexis in 10th place. Meanwhile, they're trying to catch up Shiren, but we're on just starting lap 31. It's about the penultimate lap, this one, and then it'll be the final lap. It's 2.6 seconds. They're getting closer and closer each time around. Shiren must be getting a little nervous how close they are getting. And Catula at the moment, 24.8 second lead on the penultimate lap here of Tokyo Expressway Super Formula 3 round 4 for the Virtual Racers Club. And we've had quite a race this evening. Talleyrand doing an absolute corker of a race. He was behind Racer Brown and Skyjacker, stayed out a little later than them on that second stint, put in an absolutely almighty lap time before his pit stop, and managed to get out of the pits ahead of them, and they've not been able to catch him up. And Racer Brown's got a flashing fuel, but that should be alright. Should be alright till the end of the race, we would say. Jim's fuel also flashing. Oh, it's going to be tight. Noxie, he's got plenty of fuel. He's only 1.3 seconds. Excuse me. He's only 1.2 seconds behind Jim. Jim's probably looking after his fuel at this point. And that is a big concern for him, how Noxie's catching him up. We saw Guesty earlier backing off. Shiren's catching him up as well. And now Homesick Alien and Alexis Maximus only 1.8 seconds behind Shiren. Alexis's fuel is flashing. Homesick Aliens is doing just fine as they're on their final lap now. 1.5 seconds behind Shiren. Shiren's only 10th behind Guesty. Guesty really looking after his fuel. Noxie's got past Jim. Jim's really having to back off because of his fuel. Oh my word. We said Jim's fuel was going to be tight. Racer Brown also probably having to back off, as is Skyjacker. This is crazy stuff. Here we see Catula coming down into the final corner, and Catula comes around the final corner. He's 26 seconds in the lead of this race. There's yellow flags being shown. I think that's for the barrel in the road, actually. I didn't know the game could do that. That's awesome. So there he goes. Catula coming to cross the line to take the win. Super stuff from Catula. Talleyrand looking certain for a second place as everyone else is slowing down because of fuel. And here comes Talleyrand just to use the last of his boost up that final straight to grab himself a second place. And Catula, Fernando Alonso was head and shoulders above everyone today. And there he goes, Talleyrand wiggling the car to get every last bit of fuel through, and he gets second. Super stuff. There goes Racer Brown. Take a boo, my son. He got the fuel to last. Well done. For third, Skyjacker giving a real good wiggle in fourth. Jim's back ahead of Guesty. Oh my God, they've run out of fuel, I think. They run out of fuel, and Shiren at the end there comes up to get fifth. Jim in sixth. Homesick Alien in seventh in the end. Guesty in eighth. Alexis Maximus in ninth place. Noxie in 10th. I don't know how he ended up back there. He had the fuel. And Pat is making his way around in 11th, but Pat's fuel is really tight as well. Can he make that car get to the end of the race? It's going to be a struggle for him, but wow, what a turn up there. Jim was up into 5th, but Shiren got him in the end because it looked like Jim had run out of fuel. Homesick Alien managed to get past Guesty because he'd run out of fuel. Alexis Maximus looked like he'd run out of fuel. Noxie, I don't know how he ended up back in 10th. And there goes Pat, across the line in 11th place. And he just looks like he's just running out of fuel as he gets to the line. There he is, slowing down. And he gets 11th. So Katoula was the man today. Super stuff from Katoula. And let's have a look. He gets a trophy. There he goes. Woo, woo, woo. Well done, Fernando. First win of the season for Cthulhu. I'll take you to those race results in the chat. Skyjacker saying my eyes ache, and Talleyrand says lol. So the race results. Cthulhu takes the win from Talleyrand. And Racer Brown gets the final podium position. Take a boo, my son. Skyjacker in 4th. Sharen in 5th. Jim getting 6th with no fuel at the line. Homesick Alien. He looked like he was nowhere today. It looked like his car was way too heavy. It didn't look like he had a chance. And he was with Alexis all the way through, pushing to try and catch Sharen up. And in the end, I think a lot of guys ran out of fuel just ahead of him. And he promoted to 7th, Guesty in 8th, Alexis Maximus in 9th, Noxie in 10th, and Pat finished in 11th. Excuse me. Cthulhu got the fastest lap with a 1:39.541 on lap 32, the last lap. So he even takes the win and got the fastest lap. So awesome stuff from Cthulhu. Well, that is the Super Formula 3. Season 3, should I say. It's not Formula 3, but it's Super Formula Season 3, Round 4, here at Expressway, Tokyo Expressway, East Outer Loop. In the chat, Mama Homesick saying, brilliant last few laps for Homesick. I was your commentator and your broadcaster and your commentator, Ben de Banana. Thank you for watching. And I will see you next time. Peace and love. Peace and love. Oh, if you hang around, I don't know if you're still there, might have something extra happening a little bit later. So keep your eyes peeled on the YouTube. Okay, thank you. I was Ben de Banana. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Peace and love. Peace and love, y'all.